If you're new here, I'm Kiwi, and I ended up homeless in London nearly 4 years ago, which is how all this started. I eventually packed everything onto a bicycle after cycling around the UK and left the UK, pedalling all the way down across France to the Mediterranean coast through Spain, and now I've made it over to Africa. I'm just documenting this lifestyle and the autonomy of being on the road as it happens. At the moment, I'm trying to juggle the logistics of the road with the editing, and it's left me about 3 weeks behind on these videos. The plan now is to get it up to date. So the channel is sitting a steady week behind where I'm actually at. To close that gap, this video is going to be covering 3 nights across 3 different spots with just a bit of riding in between. Let's get into night 1. This one starts off just after the Barcelona one. I may have skipped back a few days here, I'm not 100% on that. But I'm leaving Barcelona and trying to hot leg it down to Benidorm to meet up with the subscriber Julie, who's brought some goodies from England that I had ordered off her. Not ordered off her, but ordered to her place.
I don't know how I've managed to get myself into this place. In the middle of this is this place. So I'm heading over to that building just to see what the story is, but it looks like there's a couple of shacks there as well. There's a lot, I've noticed there's a lot of like shanty type towns dotted around Barcelona, you know, just tucked away in the out of way places. And it's got the feel of rain again. Breathe. Have a mooch here and just see what the story is. If not, there's plenty of allotment sheds around here. I'm sure there's going to be somewhere suitable around here. It's probably going up for about 5 o'clock, I'd say. So I'll put my bike up somewhere and we'll have a look. Looks very old, very overgrown. Might be a bit dangerous actually. We'll see how we go. What I'm doing at the moment, I'm just trying to scout a place to kip tonight without really disturbing anyone or encroaching on anybody's space. Sorry about the wind noise if there is any, there's the odd gust now and again. So this is exactly the sort of thing I do when I want to block access to people and I want a bit of privacy. So I dare say there's somebody living through there. So I won't disturb that area. There's always a way around. You don't disturb the traps. The tells, you leave the tells alone. I wonder if this person that lives on this section here that's growing the veggies used to live in there. It's fresh. Maybe I can share my liver and onions with this person. This is a fig tree. Look at the figs on it. Not ready yet, but definitely a fig tree, that. Amazing. And I just spied over here something that is commonly called sticky willy. And the reason it's called sticky willy is it sticks like mad to anything, yeah? Look at that, it just sticks on you. And it's make a really nice tonic with that. Just grab a couple of handfuls, scrunch it up in your hands and stick it in a jar of water, leave it overnight. And it's really, I can't remember exactly what the benefits of it are, but I'm going to grab some of that as well and put some in my water that I've got and have it tomorrow. We have here a whole couple of plants of aloe vera too, so I think I'm going to take some of that with me, because I know you can cut it off and it does last quite a while. So if I'm careful, take three. Three's always a good number. So that end that I've cut sort of self-seals, yeah? It's just more weight to carry. It's probably half a kilo there. So this has been confusing me. Mirador. I'm expecting it to point off to somewhere in Lord of the Rings land or something, but I think I've just worked out, I think it's a picnic area or a rest stop, a lay-by type thing, because it always points to nowhere, and I'm thinking there's some magical portal somewhere that's going to take me through to Narnia or Hobbitland. Not Hobbitland, what is it? Yeah, Hobbiton, with Gandalf and the crew. That's a tale. I was nearly an elf in New Zealand. That's for another time. An ex-roofer amongst one of my many past talents. I am very impressed with this roof on this dwelling here. I'm tempted to say church, but I don't know. But to have a stone flag type roof, that is just amazing. I mean, look at the thickness of these, some of these stones on the edge. And the way there's no cracks and it's just all crazy paved together. That is absolutely amazing. That is a feat, an exceptional feat. When I've laid tiles, I've laid long run, I've laid felt, I've laid all sorts, but to do something like that, I mean, just lifting one of those stones up that high, wow. Side of a hill here, overlooking the town of Sitges, S-I-T-G-E-S. It may be S-I-G-T-E-S, I'm not 100% on that. And I've just met the most wonderful family that live in a house over that way. Just approached them to see if I could, they were sat in the garden, or else I probably wouldn't have. I don't go knocking on doors of people's houses, but they were sat in the garden, so I just went up and, hola, English? And they did, perfect English. South African family and Spanish family, bit of a mixed bag it was. And anyway, I got some water, and then the husband, the partner, the fella comes wandering over, and I'm set up here, yeah, comes wandering over with a nice lump of a salami, which I'm just eating now, and oh, I'll tell you what, she's pretty tasty. Also gave me some more water, another bottle of water, always goes down a treat. A beautiful local baked bread as well, baked in an oven down the road there, and that's really nice, and that goes well with the salami. And to top it off, who's going to be supping an IPA later tonight? Lovely jubbly. Anyway, I'm getting back to my sausage. Salami. Loving life, guys, loving life. I'm going to film this because I've not done much filming today for the lead up for tonight's kit, but I kind of like the way this has come together. I'm in the corner of a marina, and it's a real sheltered area. There's no wind or anything. There's a little bit of a breeze, but I mean it's nowhere like it is back on the coast there. The marinas obviously jut out into the sea a little bit. So and I found this nice little alcove here, and there was a load of this wood stack, so I've made myself a bit of a wall. You can see it's a self-supporting wall, that the way you can lay the planks, so you could really use that to sort of climb up. You know, it's a good little system to remember. The way you stack the wood, so that whatever weight you put on top actually jams it in place better. So I've used that to put my tarp there, just to give me a bit of privacy, and hopefully any official that sees it on the other side is going to think that, you know, being a marina, someone's had some stuff delivered, they're just storing it here because it's a Sunday. It is Sunday night, so I was quite pleased with the way that came together actually, which is why I'm just quickly filming it. And it will just be another add-on piece for another video that I do somewhere along the line. But remember that system with the wood, people. It's a good little thing to keep in mind should you ever need to build a ladder in an alleyway. The wood does not have to be the same width as the alleyway, the way you get it stacked. Little tip for you. So I'm currently in Africa, and it's that time of the video showing the love and appreciation to everybody. I am just feeling so blessed lately, and I've just got to thank you all for being here, watching the videos, clicking the like, clicking the share, giving it the hype, and especially want to give a big shout out to these guys here. These are all external support, and the Patreon members, which will be flashed up on screen after this initial bit here. Thanks for being here, guys. Yes, I've managed to pimp myself up slightly. Thank you. This was a bit of an iffy stay, this one. I'm up in the middle of quite a large orchard. There's lots of trees with those red flowers on at the moment. I'm not too sure what they're going to turn out to be. I don't know my fruit trees, I'm assuming that's what they are. But I was kept awake from about midnight through till probably 4 o'clock in the morning. Initially the dogs barking at the house, which is over that way, and very intermittent barking but continual. That was after the dogs at another farm behind me down that way, they started, and what it was a bunch of boar moving through. I heard some rustling just outside where I was kept here, and I got my torch and shone. There was a boar there that grunted and took off, a real low guttural sort of it was quite a iffy moment, shall we say, but I stayed vigilant for maybe an hour after that, just making sure he wasn't going to come back. He was a big bastard, I tell you. Luckily, I think it was a male, because I think the mums at the moment have still got young that they're protecting. We're still in that sort of season, so luckily no female there. But anyway, that was my first wild encounter in Europe with a boar, and it's not something I want to repeat. One thing I did, just to be sure, I got my umbrella. It was closed at this stage, and I had it just here, so at least I had something to prod it with should it come too close to get curious. And I also pulled my knife as well and put that somewhere out of its sheath, just in case. And apart from that, I had a light little ambient sort of this thing it was, and I had that. I put that on a very low setting and velcroed it to the back of my bike, just here, shining that way. I did have the tarp up over me last night because it was raining, again in the hopes that maybe the boar would steer clear of where the light source was, possibly. Plus it would have been blinded had it come. This is the only way it could have come in, was over here. This was open. I had the tarp closed all around here, weighted down with these rocks. But it was certainly a different experience to go through the night with, that was for sure. Anyway, I'm going to pack up. I'm heading Benidorm today. Hopefully, it's such a mission to get to Benidorm to pick up this. Everything seems to be battling against me at the moment. Trains not turning up. The trains are free at the moment, which is a real bonus. That's been my main sort of focus for the last couple of days. Actually, is getting to Benidorm to pick up this this treat I've bought myself and a few other little goodies from this subscriber that's holidaying there at the moment. I think she's only there for another couple of days. She's only got, I think she only booked 7 days there, and she turned up several days ago. So I've got to get my skates on. I've got to get this sorted and get down there. Cheers, guys.